On the language learning website Babbel, they recently discovered that 70 to 90% of all people who ever try to become fluent in a second language totally fail. That's undeniable proof of what most of us already know, that the basic methods of language learning don't work. And yet, at the same time, we've all seen those famous polyglots online who speak multiple languages fluently and learn them really quickly. So how exactly are they doing this when 90% of language learners are failing to reach their goals in any given language? Well, they don't have access to different information than we do. The trick is they process the learning of that information in a different way. Part one of Polyglot Secrets, they network their learning. What does network your learning mean? It means that for every grammar rule and every word that you learn in a new language, you are not learning that in isolation. Instead, you are trying to connect it and cross-reference it to as many situations and as many use cases as you can. There's a common test for creative ability where you are asked to come up with as many ways that you could use a brick as possible. And after 60 seconds, depending on how many use cases you came up for a brick, that determines your level of creativity. Well, what you want to do with language learning is actually extremely similar. Whenever you learn a new word, you want to spend time thinking about different ways you could use that word, come up with as many scenarios as possible. This does several extremely important things. First of all, it creates multiple memories and use cases that your brain loves to cling on to. Your brain does not want to hold on to useless information. It only wants to remember what it knows is going to be useful. So when you're thinking ahead of time how you're going to use that word or grammar rule, your brain sticks to it a lot more easily. Number two, when you do this, you will naturally begin referencing Spanish words against each other. So you might use a specific word in a specific grammatical context. And then every time you remember one of them, you are also training the connection to the other. Now, this might not seem like much when you're in your first 50 or 100 words, but once you're at about 500 words, you'll start to see the value of having those interconnected networks between the words that help you train more than one word at a time. And lastly, this mimics how you learned language as a baby. You didn't just learn a single word by reading a dictionary one time and then you knew it forever. Instead, you learned it in layers through multiple different situations and multiple different exposures. Over time, you built up a sense of ways that the word could be used and what it could mean in different scenarios. And then the multiple contexts in which you learned that word also connected to other words and other memories in your brain. So now you've actually started to network different words to each other, which is how you eventually build up into sentences, memories, concepts, ideas, everything more than just a single word at a time. This is also why people who focus purely on translation get stuck and can never advance to that next level where they're able to think and fluidly speak in a foreign language. You want each word in your language network to be like a single door that opens up multiple other pathways. And that doesn't happen if you're just translating each word in your head one by one. This was part one of a 5-part video series, Polyglot Secrets. You can check out the other 4 videos at my channel.